Let's return to This Week in America. Here's your host, Rick Bratton.
Welcome back, everybody, coast to coast, This Week in America. Thank you for spending some time with us on the program today. For talented poet Claudia Walthing, it was a second chance at life after experiencing death for 2 minutes after a temporal brain surgery back in 2001. Since then, she's written many poems about her daily life and embracing each emotion with her family, love, inspiration, and school, sharing the meaning of being alive and not taking life for granted. Claudia feels that sharing life experiences with others is the best way to reach out. Her life has been an open book of poetry. She's written a number of poems, participating in anthologies with other poets, and her first book of poetry is We Live and Learn at a Life Pace. Claudia Walthing is with us on This Week in America. Claudia, welcome to the program. It's great to have you with us today.
Thank you very much. I'm a little bit nervous, but I know I can get through this.
There is no reason to be nervous. You've been through so much with the surgery and writing poems and publishing your own book. This is nothing. This is a cakewalk to talk about it. We're just going to talk about your life and writing poetry, and you do such an excellent job with this. It's the first book of poetry that you've done by yourself. Let's go back and talk about this fascination with poetry. When did this start for you?
Well, to be honest, I never written poetry before my brain surgery. It all happened after the brain surgery, which is more amazing to me. I was hearing words in rhymes. So I was thought, okay, am I the only one going crazy, see and hear words in rhymes? So I started from there. So back in 2007, I started writing everything I pretty much could hear and came to mind. You can find me in the middle of the night writing on my notebook.
Yeah, which
like
is
an hour.
Well, yeah, which is interesting. It's always fun to find out how writers, especially poets, go about writing. And it seems like many of you will do that sort of journaling, that taking notes, what things just sort of come to you and you write it down and see if there's something there for a poem.
You know what? It did. My mother would always say that I would catch them up in the air like flies because I will always carry a notebook with me because you never know when you're going to get inspired or that particular phrase, you know.
It's interesting. The book we're talking about by Claudia Walthing, our guest on the program, We Live and Learn at a Life Pace. You've written poems before. As I mentioned, you've been in collections of others. This is your first book of poetry. What was it like making the decision to, I am going to put my collection together and I'm going to publish my own book? What was this process like for you?
It was pretty much because, see, when you're having seizures or epilepsy, it's kind of really to react with others. So to me, after the brain surgery, it was a new learning lesson to live normal. That led me to write We Live and Learn, because in reality, we never stop learning. And with me, it was a learning process to live free of seizures. So I started writing, like I said, different poems. And I said, well, I have enough. I don't want them. I would like other people to know about them.
Yes.
So I figured, why not put it together and see where it goes? But it was pretty much a guinea pig kind of thing. Throw it out there and see how people reacted. Or, my reward was maybe 2 years later, a person that read my book came up to me and said, thank you for writing this book. It motivated me to come out more to entertaining in singing, comedian, and everything. So to me right there was like the purpose was done. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it's not just enjoyment. You actually can take a message out of all of the poetry that Claudia has in her book, We Live and Learn at a Life Pace. That has to be like the utmost compliment. You really touched this person with your poetry, didn't you?
I did. And it just made me happy because I said, okay, that is what it's for. Because we all have a certain talent, but we just don't touch it. We need that little extra push or a little spark from somebody or words to say, hey, I could do this. Let me try it, and before
Yes.
you know, you're enjoying what you're doing.
Which sounds like that's exactly how you started, and suddenly you were caught up in this and you needed to share all of these ideas, these thoughts with other people, which Claudia does in her book, We Live and Learn at a Life Pace. Book's available, of course, at Amazon. If you go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, you can link on to get information on that. What does your poetry do for you? As you're talking about, and we're talking about what it does for other people, is there something almost therapeutic about it for you when you sit and you write a poem and maybe it slows your world down and gives you a chance to reflect a little bit and appreciate what you have?
It's pretty much appreciate those around me
Yes.
and people that come through our life for a certain reason, to realize, hey, appreciate you're alive, you appreciate everything little have. Don't ask for more what you have, and you'll be happy. Because if you go the other way, it's stressful. You don't want to waste that energy like that. You want to make it fruitful from the moment and feel good for yourself, for who you are inside.
Yeah, Claudia Walthing, and that, if you Google that, it's Walthing. If you're looking for the book, it's available at Amazon. We Live and Learn at a Life Pace. What was the response of your family when you said you were going to write a book, and when you actually wrote a book and you showed them a book with your name on it that's actually been published?
To be honest, they thought I was crazy.
But that
They're
didn't.
like, wait a minute. You sure they remove a little bit of your temporal brain, or they just put a microchip on there? I'm like, they remove it, and then they didn't put anything. So my family, I was raised with 5 brothers, right? So with that, they're like, "You crazy, Mom? I think she's gone crazy." I go, "Hey, call me crazy, but I'm still your sister. I'm gonna do it." So I mean, my brothers were surprised. My mom, she just kind of like accepted, and she knew of my mind of creating was going to go furthermore. And all she said, "I just hope to be alive when you publish your first poetry book." And to become of that, when I turned 32 years old, my mom was here at home with me, and I received a package of my first published book, We Live and Learn. So we both started crying, got emotional.
Oh, yes.
And, being a single mom, it was hard, but it was her who gave me the strength to go forward, even when I became a single mom raising my son.
Well, and talk about the impact your son has had on your life. He's a very important part of that, and your emotions and your writing, isn't he? That's that love with and admiration for your son is reflected in the poetry that you write.
Yes, my son. Wow, I'm just thankful I was able to experience the experience of being a mom, having seizures, and him being little, seeing me having all these episodes. I kind of was scared, to be honest, because I didn't know how far I was going to be having them without giving up, or having, I wanted to be the role model for my son at one point.
Yes.
So my son gave me the strength and courage to do the procedure of epilepsy to remove my seizures. And through that, 2000, I became a single mom and a dad. But my son, even though he was a Christmas Eve baby, 7 months, he was everything to me. That's why my son, wow, I can't, there's no words to express or say how really much love I have for my son, for being there with me through growing up. He always supported me in my ideas as much in my writing. And for him, that's why I put him on the front cover, because I wanted to the people show that even a son or daughter can change a life and give you that kind of love that you can't find anywhere else. Even if, no matter, you are loved by many, but a parent love for its children is always stronger. if you just allow yourself to open up and, be there for them in sacrifices and guide them to the right path.
Well, that's certainly been the case in your life. Claudia Walthing is our guest on This Week in America, talking about her book of poetry, We Live and Learn at a Life Pace. Talk about the title. I love the title of this book. It's so descriptive of you and what you're doing. Talk about how you came up with this title.
We live and learn. Because of that level of my life, I was learning to be a mom. I was learning to be a dad. I was learning to be supportive even when I can't take care of myself through my seizures. So it was a little difficult to find the right type of environment without having to go out the door and think, okay, am I going to get sick? What kind of people? It's all those little things that with epilepsy, it gives you concern. So with that title, I figured, hey, I'm learning. And I'm sure other people are going through the process to better themselves or for their children. So at the same time, we're learning as we're growing. And we never stop learning, like I mentioned previously. So that's how I came out about to We Live and Learn, because we just don't stop learning. And for me, it was a very learning lesson process to be where I'm at this point.
When you made the decision to write this book, as I mentioned, the first one you'd written for other collections before. Now you decide, I'm going to publish my own book. And I think we touched on this before, but talk about the challenges of doing that, because this is all your material, all of your thoughts. How difficult is that once you make that decision and it's like these all better be good because they're all mine? It's not like picking my best that I'm going to give to a friend of mine for their book. I'm going to fill the book with my poems. How challenging is that?
Well, it was time consuming in the fact because I had all this kind of different poems, and I had to think, okay, categorize them. Because each category that I wrote, it was something that touched my life before I even suggested a brain surgery again. So it was all those little topics, emotions that made a difference in me. And at the same time, I'm like, okay, how can I put too many into a little book? So it was kind of hard to choose what topic to put in there, but so I ended up putting the most important ones for me.
What are some of the topics in the book? What are some of the themes that you have in your book, We Live and Learn?
I have the priority ones. I would say family. Family to me, it should always comes first, of course, after God, when the physical is first. The second one, I believe, is about school, because school, we all have to have education. And my parents, because of us, my parents told us, you got to take education as much because it's very important in where you want to go. So I took education and inspiration. Well, inspiration to me, I was raised in believing in God. And after that episode that happened, that I saw my soul in walking, 3 dimensions, about having that near-death experience or coming back, it totally made me more a believer,
Yes.
And then having a son at 7 months, I would always was told a baby cannot live with the 7th month. So that was my first baby, so I was freaking out. So that was another truth, a fact of difficulties to be able to put it together. But once you got in there, it was like natural. Then I would have to say inspirational, we got, and love. Of course, everything is done with love. Love, it has a different meaning for different people. And sad, But some people, they misuse the word of love. So to me, love was more like a love for a parent, love for a child, for your pets. So I figured why not put it a little bit of everything in that category. That was
Yes.
pretty much the four emotionals that pretty much, got me to get going.
That's all in the
That's
book of poetry by our guest in the program, Claudia Walthing. We live and learn at a life pace. What are you working on now?
Boy, what I just got through working on. My second book actually.
Oh, great. Can you tell us a
And
little bit about that? Give us a little
no, no,
overview
this,
of that.
huh?
Give us a little overview of that. What can we expect in your second book?
Today, I spoke to the book consultant, and that one will be out in about 3 weeks.
Oh, fantastic.
And that one is basic upon, well, the title is called Cosmic Lovers, and that's totally different from We Live and Learn. This Cosmic Lovers, again, that one is based upon frequencies, vibrations, feathers, angels, totally beyond that, kind of like that I cannot see, other than just feeling.
Well, that sounds. You've got my attention now, and that, as you say, should be out. It should be out in a few weeks. A minute or so left in the program. Why did you choose Little Shakespeare as your writer's nickname?
There's a story behind that.
I am sure there is. I'm sure there is.
All right, my old child friend, he's a songwriter. In 2007, I started writing poems, right? So I didn't have anybody who can give me their feedback because I'm a lover of critiques. I love critiques. That makes me a better writer. So I would go with him since he had knowledge of writing songs. So we said, well, songs and poems, they're not much of a difference other than just the beat and the rhymes. So I asked him, every time I wrote a poem, I would ask him, can you read this and tell me what you think, right? He says, well, after reading my second poem, he's like, well, guess what? I said, what? He says, well, this one looks like you're telling a story. You want to shorten that one down. And I said, okay. So then he will write it down like with a little marker, like the teachers. And to me, it was awesome because I could go. The first thing I look forward to in my third poem is the red marks, where he phrases and what impressions he made. So with that said, I kept going maybe on my second year, 2009, that I started, I said, okay, well, send it to him. Then he calls me, he says, I was reading your poem, and guess what? From immature, you've gotten way better, Little Shakespeare. Go, Shakespeare. So like, I didn't think of anything, but I thought it was cute because he put that little part in. For me, being petite, I kind of like, okay, that's different. I've been called. So ever since then, I said, well, you know what? People don't expect the word Shakespeare, and I go, especially on a female. So I said, why not just put Little Shakespeare? And I've been using since. That's the story behind the name Little Shakespeare, because of my friend, when he realized that my third poem was much better than my beginning, and for him to call me like that, I said, I'll take it.
Well,
okay, I'm in it.
I love the story. It's a memorable name as well that they can associate with you. So it serves all of the functions. Boy, the time has gone by so quickly. With us on the program has been Claudia Walthing. If you Google that, going to look it up, it's Walthing. The book of poetry available at Amazon. You can link on by going to our website, thisweekinamerica.us. The book of poetry is We Live and Learn at a Life Pace. I understand, as you just heard along with me, that another book of poetry by Claudia will be out very soon, and we'll keep you posted on that. Claudia, this has been fun. Great having you with us on the program. Continued success with your poetry, reaching out and touching other people. Thank you for taking time to talk about it tonight.
And thank you very much for talking to you, Rick. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. With us, Claudia Walthing. The book is We Live and Learn, a book of poetry. We live and learn at a life pace. The book is available, of course, at Amazon. Link onto our website, thisweekinamerica.us for more information. And we're back on tonight's program after these messages.
This Week in America is online. You can visit our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Scott Pinkerton, Associate Producer of This Week in America. Jay Anderson, Segment Producer. Ben Watson, Webmaster. Otto Bechet, Director of Engineering and TV Production. This Week in America produced and is a trademark of Blue Funk Broadcasting, LLC. For information on all of our guests and to listen to this week's show, our website again at thisweekinamerica.us. And I'm Sean Bratton, Executive Producer of This Week in America.